Hi everyone, it's Simmer Hales here and welcome to another Sims 4 video. Today we're in Newcrest and I decided I really wanted to make an apartment building. So yeah, this is an apartment building for 3 different families, and what I did for this build was just download some Sims off the gallery and basically design the apartments around the Sims who I downloaded. So for the basement apartment, we've got a mum with a toddler, so she's a single mum. So the apartment's a little bit more cluttered because she's got a little toddler. And then on the ground floor apartment, we have a couple's apartment, but it's really quirky. They're really into kind of quirky design. So theirs is kind of the most colourful apartment, I think. And then the upstairs apartment is for a single sim, but that it does have a spare room. So I suppose if you've got different sims in mind for this apartment, then you could have more than one sim because it's got a double bed and a single bed. So actually you could fit a family in the upper floor apartment, but it's a little bit more classy. Yeah, there's a little bit more space in the top floor apartment. So just how I've laid the different ones out, it was just bearing in mind who I was designing them for. I got the families in mind before I designed the apartment, so that's why I was quite kind of specific on what I was going for, because I knew who they were for, rather than just doing these like I don't know, magnolia type apartments where it's just really basic because they need letting out. Well, I've already got people in mind, so they've put their own stamp on the different properties. So yeah, what I was thinking with this one, it was like a converted house and it's been made into apartments. They're all slightly different in their design, but hopefully you've got this cohesive look between them. But obviously the decorations are completely different because of who's living in them. So yeah, we've got the differences there. Also with this property, as you've noticed, it's all at the front of this plot, and my whole idea with this one was I wanted a really small apartment area, but I wanted a public park on the same plot. So there is going to be a little park at the back, and that is accessed off the street. So it's nothing to do with the apartments, even though in the Sims you can't separate the areas or anything, but it is a separate area. So it's nothing to do with the apartments. There is just a little park at the back of the building, and it's all separate. It's fenced off, and yeah, it's kind of cute. It's only really small. As you can see, the plot isn't huge, but yeah, I think it's kind of nice to have them designated areas, and especially for an apartment, you don't usually get big gardens and stuff with them. So I just decided to go with the whole theme and still have something at the back, not just leave the plot empty. I didn't want that. I wanted it to look like it was a built-up area. You know, it's kind of like a city. So yeah, we've got this living area at the front and then the park at the back. It took me a while to get the exterior right, and I spent quite a long time on making sure it looked really nice from the outside. It still takes a bit of fiddling about when I'm doing the apartments, but I do them one by one, so I'm not flicking between the different apartments. I did have problem with one of the bits of footage for some reason would not upload to Filmora when I was trying to edit it, and I'm not sure what I've done. I think I've had a problem with my OBS recordings because I've noticed they're getting really grainy, and they should be better quality than they are. So I've gone back in today and changed the settings, which hasn't helped with this video, but hopefully the next video that I do will be a lot better quality, because it shouldn't be as grainy as this. So yeah, I've looked into that anyway, and I've had a fiddle about with the settings. I think I've sorted it, so fingers crossed the next one will be a lot sharper images. But yeah, one of the pieces of footage just would not upload, so we've lost a bit of the top floor apartment footage, and there's just nothing I can do about it, unfortunately, because it won't let me upload it, so I can't even edit it. So yeah, one of the bits we just haven't got, but you'll see that as we get to that apartment, we'll kind of start it and then you skip forward and the apartment's nearly finished. But apart from that, we're on the basement apartment at the moment. This is the one for the single mum. So I wanted kind of a really basic looking kitchen, Quite cheap furniture. The Eco Lifestyle Pack is brilliant for furniture that's really cheap, but it doesn't look like it's quite modern, so it's not outdated or anything. And I think it's got some really good furniture for like starter apartments and things like that. Also, if you do the cheat code for the hidden objects, then you get the really cheap furniture like the chairs and this little table, and they're perfect for starter apartments. So we've got that. It's 2 bedroom, this apartment. It is a bit cramped at the back with the bathroom and the bedroom, and I have done 2 outside areas in this one, and that's only so that we get enough light in the property, otherwise it would have been really dark. So yeah, we've got the little patio at the back, and then the one at the front. The one at the front gets the most light, but obviously it still lets a bit of light in through the back as well, which I think is needed, because otherwise it would have been just so dark in this little apartment. So I think it's kind of nice. Also, I've added quite a bit of colour in this one, because I think when they've got a little kid as well, and they're probably mishmash furniture if they haven't got much money. They just get furniture from wherever they can. Maybe I'm just overthinking that, but that's why there's quite a lot of colour in this apartment. But obviously, I haven't shown you the ground floor apartment yet, which is like a colour bomb has kind of exploded in there. So this one probably looks pretty safe in comparison to the middle floor, but it has got a bit of a theme, so I hope you kind of enjoy that one. But yeah, I've kind of thought of everything that they need for this one rather than aesthetics. So I've gone for activities they can do and just tried to make use of each space so that there's something they can do, but they haven't got the most expensive things. So there's a little pool for the toddler, there's a little seating area, there is a barbecue. We've obviously got the kitchen, which is functional, the dining table, they've got a TV area. They haven't got a PC, but you know, I'm thinking if she's struggling single mum, she maybe can't afford a PC. But they've got other things they can use. And obviously there's the public buildings which Sims can go to use computers and things. So I don't think it was desperately needed, although it's nice to have, because then you're not having to flip from one place to another. And with the loading screens, I know it can be a little bit of a pain, so I do try and put PCs in properties where I can. The other thing that I've done with this is I've locked each door for each family, so this floor is only accessible to the person who owns it and her daughter, the middle floor for the couple who own it, and then the top floor is only for the female sim who owns that one. So they can't wander into each other's apartments. They are locked. I think another way you can do this is with the roommate system. You could maybe have a roommate and then give them an apartment. That's another way of doing this. But I've had problems with the roommate one. I know when I tried to have a roommate, the roommate couldn't get in the property. It was like they couldn't get through the door, and I don't know what glitches are going on with it, but I've had issues with the roommate system. So it's up to you how you use it, but I just think it's nice having different options with apartments. And yeah, I wish we could have multiple apartments at once so that you could have the neighbours interacting and just a bit more gameplay. If you can control like different households at the same time, that'd be really cool. But I've tried to do that with this building anyway. I've tried to kind of, so you can have different families all in one plot and you can control all of them. But obviously the only problem with that is they're under the same budget, but you can make them live how you want, you know. So it's the Sims, you can kind of control it a little bit more. But yeah, that was my idea behind it, and I just kind of had fun with it, and it's something a little bit different. Another thing I've been doing in The Sims is renovating the house I live in and making it as if I had an unlimited budget so that I could renovate it exactly however I wanted, and just trying a few different things. And yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I've recorded it but I haven't uploaded it, so I possibly will upload that if I can come to a final decision on how I really like the renovation, because at the minute I'm a bit unsure about the staircases, because I've added a loft space as well, and I'm not sure about the staircase situation. It's taking up quite a bit of room on the middle floor, but obviously it's a Sims, so the scale doesn't always kind of work with the Sims to real life. So I've tried to get it as close as I can, but I think yeah, the scale is a little bit off. But yeah, I just think you can only get it as close as you can. If we could do half tiles, maybe it would be a bit closer, but yeah, I've gone with the best that I can, and I think it's pretty accurate. It's just the stairs and the hallway are not really correct compared to real life. So yeah, the stairs is kind of throwing me off, and I'm not, because it's real life as well, because it's my real house, it's just throwing me off a little bit because it's a bit too realistic. But the scale just doesn't quite work, and in my head how I would have the house if I had the money to do the renovations is not how it quite looks in The Sims. But yeah, this is where the footage skipped ahead, so we've kind of lost some of the renovation of this apartment. This is the top floor apartment, so it's for a single sim, very neutral, but then pops of colour throughout. And yeah, I've also, I don't know if you can see, but in the spare room there is a little mat. It is actually a yoga mat, but I thought it looked like a rug. But obviously there is the extra benefit of your Sim's got an activity to do in there. This flat also has an office, so we've got loads of different areas in here. I think the bedroom's kind of really cozy, the main bedroom. The bathroom I've tried to add a little bit of colour, but we've gone for this pastel purple, because I think with the rest of the flat being quite neutral coloured, I didn't want to go too wacky. I mean, I was trying some of the deep purples and pinks. I just didn't think it went with the rest of the vibe of the flat, so I decided to kind of keep it quite neutral. This, I know we've missed so much of the footage of the upper floor flat, but this is the Quirky flat, and what we've decided to go for is a really quirky 50s style diner. I had a look at images on Google and basically just went for the red, black and white, because I just think it sums up that era. And what I really wanted, but we haven't got one kind of the right size for this room, is one of the booths. But the booths we've got are just so oversized. Like if we had it the size of this chair that's currently there, if we had that in one of the booth styles, that would have been ideal, because I could have had that and then a table and then two chairs, and that would have been perfect. It would have suited the room perfectly. But instead I've gone for these chairs that have got the red and the white on them, and then a black table. So I've tried to fit with the theme, but obviously the booth would have just been more in keeping with the whole retro vibe. And then I've added some of the wall posters, like the Hollywood glamour. I thought that went really well with it, and it's the same colour scheme as well. And just like a basketball top. So you've got something for there's like a couple living here, so you've got something for the man and something for the woman in there. As for the rest of the flat, I have gone quite bold with the colours in some of the, well, most of the rooms, to be honest. The bedroom's probably my least favourite room in the whole apartment, because when I was looking at inspirations for like 50s style bedrooms, they're kind of like really gaudy carpets, and yeah, the furniture's just not really my kind of style. I mean, this kitchen, although it's 50s style, it's still very modern, so it's like a modern take on a retro kind of design. And I think that's worked with the bedroom really well as well, because of the furniture that we've got in the game. I found it a lot harder with the bedroom, with the pieces that we've got in the game. I think maybe if I should have maybe gone the CC route and got some different furniture in there, because I'm not kind of sure the bed, although the colours work and that fits in with the theme, I just think maybe with some CC options in there we could have made it a bit more up to date, a bit more modern, but still keeping in the theme of the rest of the flat. So let me know what you think. It is a bit different, it's a bit, you know, it's a bit on the wild side, this one, but I've definitely gone bold with colour on this apartment, and I actually think this one's my favourite apartment because it's just so different. It's not something you're going to do in every build, and it gets you using some different objects that you might not use in other builds as well. So it's kind of nice having that bit of variety. I struggled with the living room layout, but I'm really pleased with the final result. And I think it works really well because it's a bit of an awkward shape, this kind of front area, and I think when it's all finished it just looks really nice. And we had this big space at the back, and originally I was going to make it a living and dining room, but because of the kitchen layout in this one I had enough room to put a table in there, so I decided to put a piano in this one because I thought, well, if they've got a house like this, they've got to be creative people, because if you're not creative, you're not going to put orange, green, and yellow and red together. So yeah, I thought they've got to be creative, and yeah, this is kind of the design that I've come up with. The bathroom's probably the safest room in this house. It's very simple, but I think it's got the bold colour in there. You've got the kind of blue and then the wallpaper background. So I think it's still bold in its own way, but it's a lot more toned down than the rest of the build. As you can see with the bedroom, I was really struggling with what kind of furniture and things to use in here. So I've gone for this really heavily patterned carpet, which I'm still not sure about, but it was the most kind of in keeping one I could find to any kind of reference image for a 50s bedroom. So I've gone for that, and then this four-poster bed, mainly because of the black and white, the red and white. And yeah, I just think I was trying to tie some of the kitchen into here because obviously the kitchen's so bold it can look out of place in any kind of build. So I've tied it in with the red in the bedroom. Obviously the living room's a completely different colour scheme, but you've got bits of red in there to tie it through, even though it's really, really bright. So I'm hoping the room's kind of tied together, but obviously I'm still a bit unsure about the bedroom. I think it is my least favourite room in this apartment. And also when I uploaded this build to the gallery, the shoes that I'd raised in the hallway, they didn't save. So if you do download this build and wonder where the shoes are, they didn't save on there for some reason. So you'd just have to add some shoes in there, but it'd be easy done. Yeah, just add them in just for some clutter items really. Onto the balcony, and I did actually decide I wanted this one to be a bit more private because it's overlooked by the park, so this one changes quite a bit over time. I will show you in the screenshots at the end, but I do put some privacy barriers up. You'll see them on this side. I'm not sure about the side facing the park, but basically, yeah, these screens that we've got, I use them on the front of the balcony as well, and it just gives them a bit of privacy. I know it doesn't matter in The Sims, but I try to think about the way that the flat would be in real life, or the apartment, sorry. And yeah, I don't think it'd be nice for people who had this apartment looking into the park and people could just look at them on their balcony, because that's their only outside space that they've got that's part of their property. So I think they need a bit of privacy. So yeah, I've just put the screens up there for that reason. If you're not bothered about kind of realism, you could just take them down and have a fence, and then at least you can see into the balcony easier. At the time I couldn't find the boards from the apartment, so I used this mood board, but it's actually in the debug object, so I do change that before I've uploaded it to the gallery so it's the right one. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've forgotten before we go on to the screenshots. Obviously we've got the park to come, so we'll go through the park build, but yeah, I think it's kind of thrown me off because of how much footage I lost on the upper floor apartment, but I will give you some screenshots of that so you will see the apartment as a whole. It's just obviously it would have been nice to kind of talk through why I've done different things in that apartment, and like I say, it's a lot more neutral, so it was, yeah, it's a shame we've lost that, but hey, it's just one of them things. This is, I think, where I changed the front of the building because I wasn't quite happy with this red brick. It just looked a bit bland, and I really wanted some columns down the front, but the actual columns didn't look right, and and then if you use separate ones, the colour was glitching a little bit. So in the end I went for this wallpaper that's got the columns built into it, and I think that gives the effect and it looks really nice. I've added drain pipes as well for realism and a little bin store. I'm not sure if that's something people like in builds, but I actually really like it. I think it's good having these little realistic items that you would get on an apartment. So yeah, we've got the little bin store, and the public footpath's just extended in a little bit, just to tie it in with everything that's around it really. So I like to use the pavement slabs, just to tie it into the other bits that we've got in the area. And then this is the park at the back. I did want like 3 bits of playground equipment, but it looked really cluttered, and yeah, it just didn't quite fit in. So I had to rethink it and just have 2 bits of playground equipment. But it is only a small area, and I think it's kind of a cute little park when it's finished. I just made it sandy and then added some plant borders, and I wanted a fence going around it, so I added, I do change this one. I didn't go for the Victorian fence. I thought it was a bit too high, so I do change that. But yeah, I think it needed something to just section it off, and I think most parks have got a little gate or a little entranceway so that toddlers can't just run out from the park. So I wanted a little fence and a little entranceway to this place, and yeah, this area is really cute, and I'm hoping that Sims can still come into here without being invited onto your lot, because the gate's open, but I'm not sure if they can. You might have to actually invite them round to your house for them to come in the park, but it'd be a shame really, because obviously you've got this big area that it would be nice if everyone could use really. I just wish there was a way to split lots up a little bit more for different uses, and like I say, if we could have multiple households with separate budgets in one property, that would be really cool for gameplay as well. But yeah, I'm going with what we've got. And yeah, you just have to manage them as separately as you can, but at least it gives you a bit of variety in your gameplay if you're managing different people and they're stuck on their different floors and they can't interact with each other unless you let them, because they can't go through them locked doors. So yeah, it just gives you a bit of things, you know, something different rather than just your standard family. So just like to mix things up a little bit. I've put these little paving stones in the park as well. I think that's kind of cute because obviously it's sandy, so it gives you kind of a bit of a walkway to the back of the park as well. But yeah, that kind of finishes the build off. It's just some little finishing touches that I add now, but I'll show you all of that in the screenshots rather than going backwards and forwards, because I know this is the part that can make people feel a bit dizzy when you're going backwards and forwards and just adding them final details. So what I'll do is finish this off now and you can have a look through the screenshots. But I hope you've enjoyed this build, and if you do like the video, please like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.